Ricky Pearsall having a tough time not catching passes. All the other wide receivers who were drafted in rounds 1 and 2 kind of doing things. Some of them doing big things. He's doing nothing. Oh, well, he's running. He's running, he's cutting, he's blocking. Is it unfair to call him a bust? I mean, he's played like what? 7 games, 8 games, even if that.
Yeah, I've just seen like the narrative going around that Ricky Pearsall's a bust, and it's always way too early when you're not even one full season into your career for any player,
Yeah.
especially when you add in his circumstances of what happened this offseason. That being said, I do want to say that this to me was always the expectation of Ricky. And this is why I was against the draft pick. And a lot of people really push back. But my whole point was, in all likelihood, Ricky Pearsall is not going to be a big contributor his rookie year. He's 24 years old. He's going to play next year at 25. And that means when you go through this and you play this out, once his 5 years is up, you're talking about a player that is nearly 30 years old trying to get a second contract. So at best case, I don't think that they're going to re-sign him at the end of that 5 years because of the age. If he isn't great year one, which I didn't think he would be, you've spent a first round draft pick on, at best, a player you get 4 years of productivity out of. And I thought that that was a bad call. I didn't feel like his timeline matched where the 49ers were headed. I didn't think it matched for him being able to be a contributor now on a Super Bowl winning team or potential Super Bowl winning team. And I didn't think that it matched the timeline of a retool after this year was over. And so for that reason, I didn't like the pick. But as far as just saying he's an outright bust based off of what we've seen, way too early for all of that. I just think that the expectations were way out of line with Ricky when he was drafted. For me, that's the way that I saw it. And so I'm willing to give him grace because I didn't expect production until year 2 out of him.
Yeah. One, it's hard to say that any rookie wide receiver would be turning up on this team because they always say like, well, you got to learn the system and it's really a lot and it's tough. So that's one disadvantage he has. And also, I feel like just missing. I mean, obviously, getting shot in the chest doesn't help, not at
No.
all. But also, like the shoulder subluxation on the other side and missing most of training camp and we have a hamstring injury in minicamp. Like he wasn't there. And you see, like, he had a play that they dialed up for him, the long one. He read it a certain way and adjusted his route. And Brock said he was right. Who knows if he was? Those are the kind of things that you usually iron out in training camp.
Mhm.
And that's why I want to wait and see Ricky with the full off season before I make a big statement about him. I mean, obviously, he looks like a bust now. I mean, his production is bust-esque, but he could be really good next year if he has a full. I mean, look at Jawan Jennings. Jawan Jennings went from being a guy who got cut, had years where he had like no production, and then 1 year he has a phenomenal offseason. He gets an opportunity. He's great. So I'm still open-minded with Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah, definitely open minded. I do want to talk about that play, though, where Brock says, hey, he ran the right route. I have a feeling, I don't know for sure, that Ricky did not run the right route and that was Brock being a leader and taking the pressure off his rookie
I
wide
appreciate
receiver,
Brock
which,
doing that
if that
because
is the case,
privately you
he's
could go to
got to
like Ricky.
appreciate that.
Ricky, you know you messed up, right? You know you messed
Yeah.
up, right? I'll have your back. I won't tell people, but you know you messed up.
Yeah. Yeah. You zigged when you should have zagged. So I think I
On
feel
this
like,
team, we zig. Okay,
yeah, quit zagging. We don't do that zag crap around here, all right? You got to learn.
that's
So
Florida
if that's
SEC
the
stuff.
case, yeah, if that is the case, I really do appreciate Brock for being a leader in that moment and taking it on his shoulders and saying, yeah, it was on me, knowing it
Yeah.
wasn't on him probably.
What's interesting to me though is like he had some nice moment. Like he was good in Tampa. We were there. He had the big play. He hit a touchdown, right?
He did,
And
yeah.
then with the game on the line on the final drive, he made a couple of catches to make that drive possible. It seemed like he was actually getting a feel and getting some confidence and getting on the same page with Brock. So we started this show talking about like, does Debo need to have, is he the key to victory over the Rams? What about Ricky?
Yeah.
What about like Ricky can get open? better than Deebo Samuel. He can catch the ball better than Deebo Samuel. Like maybe him getting 3 targets in this game, 4 might be the freaking difference. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and I also think if they go the route that we're talking about, where you bring Debo into the backfield a little bit, maybe go with the suggestion from the chat saying, "Hey, play Garendo and Debo together a little bit." That's gonna draw the linebackers up, which is gonna open things up for Ricky behind those linebackers and allows him to get loose a little bit. Well, he's got quickness. His biggest
Yeah.
question to me was always, can he beat press man on a regular basis? And if the 49ers don't put him in that situation, which they really aren't, they're moving him around a ton. He's playing in the slot. He's off the line of scrimmage. That's what you want to do. And if you can continue to do that and you bring those linebackers up and start forcing them to read into the backfield, Ricky can make some plays, man. I really believe that.
I'd like to see Kyle Shanahan have a formation, a personnel grouping where he has Debo and Garendo in the backfield in some way. He has Jennings at X, Pearsall at Z, and
Okay.
Kittle obviously at tight end. I would like to see that one time. Now, maybe the Niners don't have it in their playbook. They've never practiced it, but it seems like those are your 5 best skill players. Can you get them on the field together? A smart coach probably should be able to, and I think Kyle has it in him. I'd like to see it.
Kyle definitely has it in him. And that's what's so frustrating about the way that they won this last game. It's like, oh my gosh, that's been here all season and you just are now
Yeah.
tapping into this. Why? Why are we just now seeing this? It's
Now you're
funny
talking
because
about desperation now?
right. To be fair, Warner did come out and say, hey, this was not like a
True.
rallying cry before the Bears game. We
True.
started this before the Packers game and
But
it
they
just
did play
didn't
with a
work.
whole lot more desperation this week than they did at any point in the previous
Absolutely.
weeks. So they could
Absolutely.
say they
They
were
did. They
talking about
did.
it, but it clicked this week. And I think a big reason it clicked is because Jed York was in the locker room. But I think on a more important factor is Christian McCaffrey's injury. I still think this team was waiting for him to come back and save him. Christian's coming back. Christian will be here. We'll win with Christian. We always win with Christian. Christian will make it easy. Nope. That's not happening this year. What are you guys going to do? Give up? And they're like, no, we got George Kittle. We're still good. We just have to actually, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
There might be
Maybe they're going to get
something
blown
to
out.
that. There might be something to that, and I'm gonna go back to the comment made this offseason or early in the season by Rob Gronkowski. Remember, he was like, "Listen, there's a lot of really good players on this team, but to me, nobody is saying, 'Get me the damn ball in the big moments,' and they need that guy." Now, Jennings seemingly a step forward into being that guy,
Kittle.
but when
It needs
Christian's
to be
there, I'm
Kittle.
sure everybody's looking at him going, "He'll make a play. He'll make a play. He'll make a play." Oh, he's not making plays. Shoot, we lost again. Now it's like, well, somebody has to step up. Might as well be me, right?
I think it's interesting that Gronk was the one who said that because in a lot of ways, Kittle is the original baby Gronk. I mean, he plays
Okay.
like Gronk in a little bit smaller of a frame, and for Gronk to say there's no it guy on this team is kind of a shot at George, who's gonna be in the Hall of Fame next to Gronk one day. So I agree with Gronk, George. In your very polite Midwestern way, you got to make sure that you never have 2 targets in a game ever again. And I think he tried. He did that after the Buffalo game, and we saw how he was rewarded. And again, it has to happen this week. Like you can't ever lose a game like that. And it happened in the Super Bowl this year. So it can't happen again. Gronk
Yeah,
wouldn't let it happen to
they're
him.
gonna have to try to do everything they can to put up 30 plus. They may need every point to win this game.
They might need 40.